Hello class, this is Josh McCain. This is my biography history on Jon Snow. Jon Snow was born March 15th, 1813 in York, United Kingdom. He assisted in treating patients during the cholera epidemic in 1831 and 1832. He graduated with his MD from the University of London in 1844. He spent several years studying the effects of cholera in London. He helped fight the epidemic. He battled the second string of cholera in 1848 to 1849. He published on the mode of communication of cholera, known as the father of the epidemiology. His first case of cholera was in England. It was reported in 1831, about the time he was 18, finishing up between 1831 and 1854. Tens of thousands of people in England died of cholera. In the mid-1800s, people did not have running water or modern toilets in their homes. They used the town well and community pumps to get the water that they use for drinking, cooking, business dump untreated water, sewage, and animal waste directly into the town's river or into open pipes called cesspools. Water companies often bottle water from delivery, brewers, and other businesses. Dr. Snow believed that sewage dumped into the river or into cesspools near the town well could be contaminated by water supply, leading to rapid spread of diseases. In 1854, in the town called Soho, which is known as the suburbs of London, was hit hard by this terrible outbreak of cholera. Dr. Snow lived near Soho and immediately went to work to prove his theory that contaminated water was the cause of the outbreak. Within 250 yards of the spot where Dr. Snow wrote, as soon as it became acquired with the situation and extended of his interruption of cholera. Dr. Snow suspected the contaminated water frequently like street pumps on Broad Street. Dr. Snow worked around the clock to track down any information from the hospitals and public records on when the outbreak began and whether the victims drank the contaminated water off a Broad Street pump. Dr. Snow suspected that those who lived and worked near that pump was most likely to contract cholera. Dr. Snow's research paid off by using graphic death charts from the outbreak and investigating each case, determining access to the pump, the water pump. Dr. Snow had evidence to prove where the epidemic was coming from. Besides those who was living near the pump, Dr. Snow tracked hundreds of thousands of cases of cholera near the school, restaurants, business, Record shows that the keeper of one of the coffee shops in the neighborhood who served glasses of water from Broad Street pump, along with the meals, the customers contracted cholera as well. Dr. Snow also investigated the group of people who did not get cholera and tracked down whether they drank from the pump water. The information was very important because it helped him rule out the other possible sources of the epidemic besides the water pump. Dr. Snow found 7 important examples. A workhouse or a prison near Soho also had 535 inmates, but also no cases of cholera. Dr. Snow discovered that the workhouse had its own well and brought water from the Grand Junction Water Works. The men who worked in a brewer on Broad Street, which made Martin liquor, also escaped getting cholera. Mr. Huggins told Dr. Snow that the men drinking the liquor they made are water from the brewer's own well and not water from the Broad Street pump. None of those men contracted cholera, a factor near the pump at 37 Broad Street. They was not so lucky. The factory kept 2 tubs of water from the pump on hand for employees to drink, and 16 of the workers died from cholera. The cases of the 2 women, a niece and her aunt who died of cholera, puzzled Dr. Snow. The auntie lived some distance from Soho, as did her niece, and Dr. Snow could not make the connection to the pump. The mystery was cleared up when Dr. Snow talked to the son of the woman. He told Dr. Snow that his mom had lived near Broad Street area at one time and liked the taste of the water from the pump so much that she had bottles of water delivered to her on a regular. The water was drained from the pump on August 31st, the same day of the outbreak, and was delivered to her, as was her custom. She and her visiting niece took a glass of the pump water for refreshment, according to Snow's records. Both died the following day. Dr. Snow was able to prove that the cholera was not a problem in Soho, but among the people who were in the habits of drinking the water from Broad Street pump. He also studied samples of the water from the pump and found white flakes floating in the water. On September 7, 1854, Dr. Snow took his research to the town office and convinced them to take the handle off of the pump, making it impossible to drink Broad Street's water. The office was unwilling to believe him, but took the handle off as a trial, only to find the outbreak immediately stopped. Little by little, the people who left homes and business in Broad Street area out of fear of getting cholera began to come back. The success of Dr. Snow's theory in stemming the cholera epidemic in Soho, public officers still thought his hypothesis was nonsense. They refused to do anything to clear up the cesspool and sewage. The Broad Street Broad of Health Issues reported that we see no reason to adopt this belief and shrugged it off. Dr. Snow evidence as suggested for months afterwards, Dr. Snow continued to track every case of cholera from 1854 Soho outbreak and traced them on all of the passing through of the area and children who live close to other pumps but walk by Broad Street pump on their way to school. What he couldn't prove was where was the contamination came from in the first place. The office was content that there was no way sewage from the town pipes leaked into the pump, and Dr. Snow could not figure out whether the sewage came from open sewage drains underneath houses or business, or public pipes, or cesspool. The mystery might have never have been solved, especially that Henry Whitehead took on a task of providing Dr. Snow wrong. The Reverend believed that the outbreak was not tainted water, but a divine intervention. God's divine intervention. He did not find any such proof. In fact, the report confirmed Dr. Snow found the best of all, giving Snow the probable solution to the cause of the pump's contamination. Reverend Whitehead interviewed a woman who lived at 40th Broad Street, whose child contracted cholera from some of other sources. The child mother washed the baby diaper in water, which she then dumped into a leaking cesspool just 3 feet from Broad Street pump, touching off where Dr. Snow called the most terrible outbreak of cholera which every occasion in United Kingdom. A year later, a magazine called The Building Public, Reverend Whitehead found, along with a challenge to Soho office who closed the cesspool and repaired the sewage and drainage because of the numerous deaths were all the material from the Fresh Academic. It took many of years before publishing the official made those official improvements. I'm sorry. The official made the official improvements. In 1883, a German physicist, Robert Koch, took the research from the causes of cholera a step further when he isolated the bacteria viral cholera, the poison snow contained, causing cholera. Dr. Robert determined that the cholera is not contained from a person to person, but it spreads only through unsanitized water or food supply sources. A major victory for Dr. Snow's theory. The cholera epidemic in Europe and the United States in the 19th century ended after the cities finally approved water supply sanitizer. The World Health Organization eliminated 78% of the people in third world countries are still without clean water supplies today, and up to 85% of those people do not live in areas adapted to sewage treatment, making cholera outbreak ongoing concern in some parts of the world. Today, scientists consider Dr. Snow to be the pioneer of public health research in the field known as epidemiology. Much of the current epidemiology research is done at the U.S. Center of Disease Control, which still use the theories such as Dr. Snow to track sources, cause of many diseases. Dr. Snow played a major part in finding the sources of cholera and going to the city office and doing his studies and investigating and finding a solution to solving the problem. For places that do not have resources to better their town system, if given them the resources, this can be a big help. Being in the United States, we have water treatment, we have doctors, we have scientists to look into things of this matter, but places that do not, I feel like we can do more by helping places that do not have these resources. Dr. Snow opened my eyes up, and this is my assignment. Thank you guys for taking out the time. I did my very best, and have a good one.